All right. Everybody in here who wants to be here? So you guys just say, "What's up, Homestead Homies?" on 3. You ready? 1, 2.
What's up, Homestead Homies?
I love that stuff.
Now tell everybody, they may not know what a Homestead Homie is.
I don't either, but it sounds good. So in case you're new to what we got going on, we're Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. I'm Doug.
And I'm Stacy.
And we have a YouTube channel where we post our videos every day. I can't even believe it. And we kind of share our adventure with you guys, the public, trying to get out the information about non-GMO seeds, eating healthy, growing your own food. We actually live off-grid with no solar power, no wind turbines, no electricity. We have composting toilets. We have gravity-fed water.
3,000 gallons, as a matter of fact, right?
Wow.
Runs down from our barn all the way into our house.
We're way out there. So, but we really enjoy sharing our adventure with you guys. And then what we try to do is to share our documentation of our lives over the last 6 years. You know, we're not doctors. We don't play one on YouTube. Only advice that we give you guys is what we've, researched and lived. And then by our example, we're just hoping that by you guys watching our channel, that you can learn something, apply it to your life, and make the adjustments where you're at and where you're at in your life, so you can be healthier and happier and live a better and more quality-filled life.
Yeah, this is basically really our live testimony. We, live the normal city life where, we lived in a cul-de-sac in the city with, a 5-bedroom house, 3 bath, like everybody, and we would live the rat race. We were doing things. We were crazy. We had chemical cleaners in our house. I had air fresheners everywhere. I was shopping, consume.
We're still working on that part.
We were sick and tired of being sick and tired, and so that's when we just decided to say, hey, we want to know where our food's coming from. We want to know, that we can produce it and do it the right way and put things into it to make our bodies healthy and get us strong, because kind of in our journey, as we kind of got into this, it kind of took a little time. But I wasn't feeling very well. I was sick. I just didn't feel right. I was very tired, and I didn't have any energy, and I just felt bad. Just bad. And some days I just felt like I couldn't do anything, but you have to get up and keep going. And you would go to the doctor, and nothing would be wrong with you. And so I just did a lot of research, and then I went and took a certification at the Czech Institute, and I learned it was a holistic lifestyle coaching class, and I learned that everything that I thought was healthy was not, and everything really we were doing was wrong. And we started doing these little changes by taking certain toxins out of our life, making our own soaps, laundry detergents, buying organic foods, and doing these little subtle changes, which led us to this extreme change that we're in right now. But our lives have just been wonderful, and how it's changed just everything about our health and our wellness and our happiness and our energy and our mood. And we're in our 50s now, and I feel better than I have felt in my whole entire life.
I'm only 49.
Well, you're going to be...
No. Don't tell me. I got a few more months.
Yeah, well, I'm a lot older than him, but he's almost 50. But either way, we are feeling better than we have ever felt. I have more energy, more vitality. I feel great. And what we're going to do is kind of talk about the farm effect. And there's a lot of studies over the past 10 years that show that microbes and bacteria in dirt and soil are good for our immune system. Believe it or not, right?
Yeah, the same microbes and bacteria that we are fighting for. Most of you guys probably here growing food understand the value of adding that into your soil. For the plants is the same stuff that we need for our own bodies, coincidentally.
Yeah, there was a study in 2012, I think June of 2012, by the Journal of Clinical Allergy and Immunological, I can never say that word.
You did good.
I did okay. And it showed that 50% less in allergies and asthma and gut-related problems. They studied children, Amish children, and that these children had 50% less likelihood of having these issues. And it's because, they're exposed to the dust and the farm, and just everything around. And when you're introduced to these things at such a young age, it helps the immune system where it kind of doesn't recognize dust and pollen and these things, where you don't have a reaction to them. So it was kind of a fascinating study. And they also did some studies between the Amish and Hutterites. Now the Hutterites do have electricity, so they were finding that Amish children were doing a little bit better when it came to, you know, sicknesses and allergies and things because of the electromagnetic frequencies, and we'll get to that a little bit more later. But it's kind of interesting to see how when children, when they're little and they're out crawling around in the dirt, what do they like to put in their mouths? Yeah. You know, they put whatever's on the ground, they put it in their mouth, they're crawling in the dirt. So maybe they know at this young age, instinctually, that getting dirty is good for you.
And then what happens is, as you raise your children, because you're not hip to this information, you start sterilizing them like crazy, right? Like you're washing them, you're Purelling them to death, you know, they're all the time clean, 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 don't do that, don't do that. And then you guys are, you know, not you guys, but generally speaking, people are in these enclosed environments all the time, so you're not exposing yourself, and then what happens is then your allergies and everything start to build, and they get worse and worse, and every year you're like, you know, I don't know what's wrong, and then you're, you know, most people are taking like Benadryl and all these pharmaceuticals, and they're not ever really addressing the problem. So like eating local honey is good, that helps you with your allergies, you know, like being outside more, being in the sun, and all the stuff we're going to kind of talk about here.
Well, we have like a little micro ecosystem on our bodies.
Yeah.
And it's inside our body and it's on the outside of our body. And there's this project, it's called the Human Biome Project, and write this down because I want you guys to all look at it, you know, you could check it out on the internet. It's called the Human Biome Project. And it's a fascinating, it's an amazing study where they studied the body and how we have trillions of like biome cells all over our body that we need. We need this bacteria, we need it all over us to help us to stay healthy and to keep us strong. And unfortunately, like Doug was saying, we are sanitizing ourselves and washing all that stuff off of us. Because like when we moved, okay, we first moved, we had no running water in our cabin at all right? So
we had running water, it was you and 2 bales on each side of your arms.
I was hauling water for 4 years, so we would have 5-gallon buckets and we have, you know, gallon jugs, and I would know friends or whoever when I was going anywhere, I'd fill up my jugs. I know how much water that it would take for me to live for the week. So until we got our rainwater catchment.
Just real quick, that is huge because like when we first got there, we're coming just like many of you probably living in the city, like, you know, showering and, you know, like up against the wall, shower, 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 hey. But then we went to that situation where we were like hauling it in 5-gallon buckets and 1-gallon pails. So like, you know, it's like, wow, this big awareness happens. It's like, look how much water we've been using. So now we have a 3,000-gallon water, gravity-fed water system that we collect rainwater. And it's like, that can last us so long because we've already conditioned ourselves now on saving that we're on our trip, came into San Francisco, we're at the hotel, I mean, I'll do a little water and I turn it on. I mean, I'm very aware now of how much water we're wasting, especially with our compostable toilet, because we don't ever have to flush. It's a funny joke when people come visit at our house. It's like, did you flush? Because Didn't hear
they
it
don't
flush.
need to. Just cover it with sawdust and you're good. So we have this biome throughout our body, and we have to really take care and maybe not take showers as much. All right.
What?
So what we started doing is we were taking showers all the time. Then we came to where we were doing our stuff, and we weren't able to take a shower or a bath all the time. We didn't have any water, and so we weren't able to do it. So we weren't taking as many showers, and I started noticing that my skin started getting better. We were feeling better. I used to get a lot of itchy skin, and my skin just wasn't the best. And all of a sudden, I started things were healing in my body. And then I started doing some more research and studying on it, finding how this biome is so crucial to our body and that we're washing it off, and it actually helps our body.
Right.
So what I could say to you guys, you know, some people have to take a shower every day. Just try not to use soap every day and only wash the areas that need to be washed, like under your arms or in your private areas, and just use water. Because you also hear about vitamin D, right? Where do we get vitamin D from? The sun. So you're outside and you're getting the sunshine and you're getting your vitamin D.
And then what do you do when you come in from the sun that you've been out in the yard and you've been sweating, and what's the first thing you do? and you just washed off all that vitamin D.
Yeah, there's studies show now that when you're outside in the sun, it takes about 48 hours for you guys to absorb the vitamin D into your skin. So when you use soaps, it washes it right off. So if you want to keep your vitamin D, because vitamin D is so crucial to your immune system, to helping you to absorb your calcium to go where it needs to go in your body instead of going into your joints and your arteries, you want your calcium to go into your teeth and your bones, right? So let's try to optimize this vitamin D, because there's a huge deficit of vitamin D all around, isn't there now? You know, because people aren't getting outside, people aren't able to, you know, absorb these things. So it's very important that we are outside, and when we go outside and you come back in and you take a shower, make sure that you don't use soap on your skin and the areas that were exposed to the sun. Just rinse off with some water, and then of course wash, you know, the areas that need to be washed. But that is just a really easy thing that all of you guys can do, because there's a lot of people that don't live out in the country like we do or have a homestead. You know, a lot of people are living in the city, living in apartments, condominiums. So that could really help with your health.
And that's one thing we say is do what you can where you are. But as a testament, we get emails all the time, and like people hear this information, like, I don't know, like I grew up and my mom was cracking the whip. It's take a shower every day, take a shower every day. And then so when you hear this information, you're like, I don't know, I'm gonna be stinky. But we hear people that ride us in, and we know from firsthand experience, yeah, you might be stinky like for a little bit, because it's like a detox going on, like you're letting your body sweat and you're getting it out, and then you'll actually start leveling off. And most of you here are pretty hip on eating the right foods, so the better you eat, the less you'll stink as well. So just a little, I mean, we got testimonies, we got the emails, this stuff is for real.